Hello, folks. Welcome to our beer examination tonight. We have a small group because people have family activities, and Eric, one of our standby people, he's going to give this up, all of this. He's going to give up all this so he can go to a Boston Red Sox game on his birthday. But, you know, some people's priorities.
Who are they playing tonight?
Aren't they playing the Rays?
Hmm.
We went to see them play the Rays. Remember that? And then the Rays, so the year before, they started winning all their World Series. Okay, well, tonight, anyway, all from baseball talk. Although I could mention that we actually drove to Fenway Park from Louisiana, but, you know. All right, now, we're doing Blue Moon Belgian White Ale. And you've got a can. Interesting. They started coming out with cans about, what, 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, I haven't really seen cans around much. That's why I went and grabbed it. I thought it was kind of interesting. I normally see them in bottles.
Right. Now, you might want to roll the beer around because you're going to get sediment, so I should have mentioned that before you opened it. There's going to be cake at the bottom. I'm going to swish it around when I get lower.
For some reason, just kind of give you an idea where I'm coming from, I'm thinking this is going to be like, I just had the shock top last night, the last of that shock top that we had.
Oh, yeah.
Just for whatever reason, I'm thinking this is going to be like that, but anyway, I don't know.
That makes sense because Shock Top was a copy of this.
Oh, it was? So there you go.
Yeah, when Blue Moon started becoming very popular, Anheuser-Busch said, well, let's do something to respond. So in 2005, they introduced Michelob Shock Top, and you know, that became extremely popular as well. Now, this beer... Before we get into the beer, I want to say that Blue Moon, I posted one of my videos that my daughter did with me on their website, and actually I wasn't too favorable towards the beer. My daughter was, but they were like, "Oh, that's great," you know. And then they sent me all this stuff. They sent me this Blue Moon, you know, prior. What do you call it? Beer cap prior. Sent me the Blue Moon shirt, which is a nice shirt.
Nice.
They sent me 4 Blue Moon wheat glasses.
Ah.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it was really cool, you know. And I didn't.
And 10 cases of Blue Moon Belgian wheat.
No, but it was nice. You know, that Coors did that. And well, Jean, you want to tell the world how many? What year this beer came out?
The beer came out in 1995. I think Coors, in my opinion, I think they started to begin to notice a little bit of what was going on with the craft beer guys. I think they're probably one of the first, but, you know, like the others didn't really pay much attention to it, but they decided to go ahead and create a beer that was kind of similar in that line. It came out in 1995, 5.4% alcohol by volume. They came up with this, you know, quote-unquote brewery company, Blue Moon Brewery, but when you see Golden, Colorado, you kind of know it's from Coors. So
yeah, they you're exactly right. This was developed at the Sandlot Brewery, which was their on-site experimental brewery over there at the Coors Field, where the Colorado Rockies play.
Right.
And it was originally called something else, but they didn't keep that They didn't keep the early name too long, and they came up with Blue Moon Belgian White. And like you said, it was a response to the growing craft beer movement. It became very popular. John said it's 5.4% alcohol, which it is. It's 9 international bitterness units. So if you don't like bitter beer, this will be right up your alley because it's not going to be bitter at all. And it's certified kosher. By the way, all Coors branded beers are certified kosher.
Good to know.
Now, someone is suing Coors right now. This started about a week ago. And if you look on the caps, it says 20th anniversary. I did. Nice collectible. I think I'm going to keep that. There's a man suing Coors because he said that calling it the Blue Moon Brewing Company is a deceptive practice and it's tricking the customers. I don't see why that lawsuit would have any merit. Jean says that man is an idiot. I don't know why it would have any merit because how hard is it for a consumer to just simply do a little research? I mean, that's all I did. I mean, I didn't feel like I had been deceived, but some people are different, I guess.
Yeah.
when I first heard that story, I kind of laughed it off. I said, "Really?" I meant, and it's like these some of these companies have these little elusive names, but you know what they are. So, for him to say that this was just they deceived me. I thought it was an independent company, but I found out it was owned by Coors. I mean,
And how was he damaged? How was the man damaged?
I know.
I mean, where's the tort?
He's forced to like a beer that was made by a macro brewer.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look on the Miller Coors website, it very clearly shows Blue Moon. If you look on Molson-Coors website, it's not that hard to find out. But before we go on, I want to say we have from the West we have Paul, and from Mississippi from Louisiana we have Brandon and myself. From Alabama we have John, and I forgot. Southern California is further west than Texas. We have Keone.
Yeah.
Now,
You can call me Central now.
that's right.
I am in East Texas, so.
Yeah, but you're still a western state. Now, Brandon, you were going to tell us about the ingredients, right?
Yes. What they use in this beer, they use pale malts, white wheat, and oats. So that's a little different there. The oats are supposed to be more of a contribute that creamy mouthfeel that you expect in an oat. Beer using the oat adjunct. They use a blend of domestic and imported hops. They don't really say what hops they use on the website. They use Valencia orange peel for the flavor, and coriander. The coriander and orange peel, just traditional flavorings for the Belgian white beer style. So that's pretty traditional. But those are the ingredients. Like 9 IBUs, like it was said before. So there you go.
Okay, so I like, that is interesting that you said the oats. It does make it creamy, but there's no corn or rice adjunct.
And you could taste the orange peel. I mean, immediately within the first few sips, you can actually taste it.
Now, mine was made in North Carolina. Where was yours made? I know mine was made in North Carolina because I'm looking at the code.
How do I know?
Okay, if you find the date, the Best Buy date, which mine is August 10th, below that there's a code.
Yep. Mine's E1007017.
You said E10 what?
E1007.
Mine is
01 is Milwaukee, right? 007 E1. Well, if it's code 01, it's Milwaukee. If it's code 04, it's Fort Worth, Texas. If it's code
05.
05 is Eden, North Carolina. 06 is okay.
Yeah.
On the website, it's very informative. They'll tell you exactly where it's made. And it even tells you the hour and the minute it was produced.
So the first 3 digits, that's what tells where it's made?
Okay, A is the day of the week. A would be Monday, B Tuesday, C Wednesday. So mine was made Wednesday in Eden, North Carolina, on production line 00 at 7:53 a.m. I guess.
Because mine says CO50700037.
Yeah, so Eden, you're in North Carolina. You got a North Carolina beer too. The reason they do that, of course, is to let you know. And then if there's some quality control problems, they can pinpoint, where it came from and who was working on that line and what the heck's the problem.
It also helps it recalls.
Right. We know about recalls in Texas, do we not? Now, Paul, you've had this before?
Yes, many times.
Brandon?
I've had it quite a few times myself.
Keone?
About twice.
And John?
Like I said, I've had it a few times before. My younger brother got me hooked onto it at one point, and it was around Christmas time several years ago. I've had it a few times. It's all right. So. And speaking of which, not to jump ahead, guys, but I think Didn't a Budweiser or Anheuser-Busch try to come out with something similar to this with the golden wheat?
Well, that was for the Bud Light.
Right.
That
Bud Light
didn't
golden
make
wheat.
it.
Right.
But yeah, that didn't make it. But their main competition for this beer, of course, was their shock top line, or is there. Also, another beer that Anheuser-Busch owns, which is sort of like the originator of this whole style in a lot of ways, is the Hoegaarden. Which I'll tell you what, I don't see Hoegaarden too much anymore. And I used to.
I don't either. Very rarely.
Yeah.
I remember that beer, seen it a few times, but when going out with my dad, but very rarely I see it.
Yeah, this man Pierre Celis, he resurrected the style. And, unfortunately, he died. He if it wouldn't have been for Pierre Celis, I don't even think we might not even be drinking Belgian wheat beers. He was a fabulous
Eric.
character. Now, the beer is not expensive. You can get it in cans and bottles and on draft. They have it on draft at the Louisiana Superdome. I remember a few years ago I was at a Saints game and I see all these people drinking these beers, and they were really cloudy. And
they had orange peels. They had orange slices in them.
Yeah, and I was thinking, what is that? And so I went over there and I looked and I said, oh, okay, Blue Moon. Right. And, if you go to the Superdome, they'll have Blue Moon and some other Miller Coors beers, or Anheuser-Busch will have Goose Island and whatnot, and they'll say craft beers. So that's a controversial term, Brandon and Keone and Paul and John, you know that.
Right.
But in my opinion, it really is a craft beer in the sense that it's, a specialty brand. It's not a Coors Banquet. It kind of does fall within the.
It depends how you define craft beer. I mean, how do you define it?
I define it as sort of like a specialty beer.
A non-American adjunct lager, essentially.
Yeah, sort of like that.
Yeah.
I know that the Brewers Association uses an arbitrary term where they just say, well, it depends on how many barrels of beer you produce a year. And to prove that, when the Samuel Adams line got so big and they were approaching the threshold, the Brewers Association said, well, okay, we're just going to raise the arbitrary number a lot higher so you can fall within. So it's sort of like they're saying, well, we don't like major brewers because they're the major competition. So we're going to create this threshold which none of them could comply with, and then we'll say they're not craft beers. Even though a lot of what you're drinking from what the major brewers call craft beers is better than a lot of the craft beers. I'm not saying it's all better. Obviously it is not. But a lot of times it is. So, I don't know. I'm just a little bothered by that. That's my opinion. I don't know what y'all think about it.
I just say I drink the beer. I don't care who makes it.
Yeah. I mean, craft beer is just sort of an arbitrary term, if you think about it. I mean, what does it really mean?
I think 40 years ago they would have called it specialty beer, right?
Like, what about, like, popular imports? Would that be considered a craft beer?
That's where I'm going with that. You see, because 40 years ago, Guinness, Extra Stout, Bass, Pale Ale, Beck's, Dark, those would have been considered specialty beers.
Right.
And then around around the 80s, they started using the term microbreweries, and that made sense because it was a tiny little brewery that had very few employees and had extremely limited production. But then they
were trying to bring the beer back to the old days of what beer used to be,
Well, not just that, also just to experiment with styles that had kind of fallen by the wayside now. And I'm going to go back to what you're saying, Jean, because that's interesting. But as some of the microbreweries became major brewers like Samuel Adams, Boston Brewing, well, that didn't make sense to say micro anymore because Samuel Adams and Sierra Nevada are obviously not micro by any sense. So they came up with I don't want to say they came up with the term craft beer. They began to use it more because I have literature from the mid-'90s, like 1994, where Anheuser-Busch is using the term craft beer. So,
what were they using it, like, in what context?
I'll show you. Now, Jean,
yes,
you're right in the sense that they were trying to bring back some styles, but the major brewers always did produce India Pale Ales, stouts, all of those, Bocks, all those types of things. They just weren't big sellers, but they did produce them. There was a beer that Schaefer produced back in the 40s called Schaefer Pale Dry.
Uh-huh.
And that was sort of like a craft beer from them. Like, special. I prefer the term specialty beer, but
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about Blue Moon? I mean, it is about examining Blue Moon. Kind of a heavy mouthfeel to me.
Yeah, I agree.
It's 160 calories. It's not like a light beer.
It's not bad. It's a very good flavor. Again, I have my views on these, beers that use a lot of fruit and flavors, but with the orange peel is not too overpowering. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's like I said, I'm not big on wheat beers. I'm pretty much like an IPA, pretty much a lager and a Pilsner type person. Stouts too. Blue Moon serves its purpose. Again, I bring this to a dinner party. And for me, am I going to have this every day? No. It's just it's special occasion type beer. So.
Yeah.
Like I said, $5.64 for a 4-pack at Walmart. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and sometimes when it's getting short dated, you'll see Blue Moon, at least around here, they'll have them for $5.99 a 12-pack.
Yeah.
Wow.
$5.90. Yeah, even had it $4.99 a 12-pack a couple of years ago.
$5.99 a 12-pack?
$4.99 a 12-pack. It was like a month before the expiration date.
Oh, okay. All right.
So the distributor said, just sell it. Better than throwing it away.
Right.
Okay.
And pound it, and you'll be fine.
I drank it. I was fine. This is not my kind of thing. I mean, I'm not disparaging it because if I drink a Belgian wheat ale from a bunch of different companies, I would have the same opinion. It's okay. The coriander I could live without. The orange wedge I could live without. The white beers I don't care for. So I can't say, well, I don't like the style, therefore the beer's bad. That doesn't make sense. My daughter loves the style, so she would give it an A. To me, it's more like so. All
right, I'm sorry, guys.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, Blue Moon has some other styles. They have the Winter Abbey, I think it is, and they have a couple other styles that they do.
They have an incredible amount of styles, John.
Right.
Yeah, they have a summer ale or something.
Oh, Mountain Abbey Ale, as John was talking about. They have their Rounder. They've made some really pretty credible what you would call craft beers. With their graffiti series and their that Blue Moon Grand Cru, which I never got to try, was like 8% alcohol, and their
right.
What was that one? Their wine series, like using wine grapes. What they call it? They changed the name. It was in those big wine bottle type things, and
is that like a barley wine or something?
No.
It was. I remember what you were talking about. They did use wine grapes in there, and it was about $8 a bottle. It wasn't a bad. It actually was less. I think it was less than $8 a bottle, or I forget how much it cost per bottle. But,
the Third still has some of it. It was about 9% alcohol. This was no joke. Me and my daughter tried one. It was, at first we didn't like it, but as I drank down, might have been the alcohol, but as I drank it down, it did appeal to me more and more. Maybe it was like their Endeavor series or something. I don't know. It was something like that, but I'm not right there. It's right on their website. Their website lists all their beers, and it lists all the discontinued beers, which they'll bring back from time to time. So I thought their pumpkin beer was really interesting.
Yeah, I've tried their pumpkin beer before.
Now, Keone,
Shock Tops Pumpkin.
what, Keone?
The Shock Tops Pumpkin.
Oh, yeah. I never tried it, but I saw a single of it recently. Let me read what they're saying. Was it good?
It wasn't bad. It just tasted like a wheat beer, but you got like kind of a slight aftertaste of like pumpkin pie. I think it was more subtle than the Blue Moon.
Interesting. Okay, now they're saying here on the Anheuser-Busch document from 1996, they're saying Red Wolf, okay, they say specialty brews. Red Wolf, Elk Mountain Amber Ale, Elk Mountain Red, Ziegenbach, Christmas Brew. Now, what it says here, listen to this. You'll find, I think you'll find this very interesting. It says, during the 1995 holiday season, the company, Anheuser-Busch, introduced this first of its seasonal beers. This new limited edition brew reestablished a company tradition begun by Adolphus Busch, the company's founder, in the 1890s. The dark, robust brew is crafted in the spirit of the company's turn-of-the-century recipes and features its heritage in package design. Anheuser-Busch plans to introduce other seasonal beers in '96. So that's what I was saying all along. They were making these craft-style beers back in the 1890s.
Right.
And then there's a thing called...
Why didn't they not put them out there? You know?
Yeah. There's a thing called the American Originals. This line of full-flavored craft brewed beers debuted in late 1995 in select cities, and what they had was Black and Tan Porter, Faust Golden Lager, and Mountiner Amber, are crafted in the style of the turn-of-the-century beers brewed by Adolphus Busch, in which John was referring to. So it's like
hey, I mean, that's the thing. These craft brewers act like they invented a lot of these things, and they've been around for centuries.
Yeah, and I don't want to disparage craft beer, and I'm saying that because the craft beer people are really touchy. I say the craft beer people because I drink craft beer like about every day, right? Like every day. But they're touchy, they're really sensitive, so you have to preface everything with not trying to upset anybody.
Very sensitive, very sensitive, very sensitive.
Sure, really. And you got a lot of the craft brewers, they got a bad chip on their shoulder, and what I've noticed, they're insecure, and they're like always ready to jump and be defensive, and it's really, I don't think it's a healthy way of looking at it, but anyway.
Yeah, well, Imperial Stouts. How long have Imperial Stouts been made?
It's been for, like I said, I think the last 200 years or so.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, since Guinness Foreign Extra Stout has been out since 1801.
So you don't think when the Bushes first started brewing beer in the U.S., they didn't know about porters and stouts and whatever else was out there at the time?
They definitely knew about all of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
they came up with a beer that more people bought than any other beer, and that's what they stuck with.
Right, and in fact, the Budweiser recipe was not really a favorite of Adolphus Busch, apparently. But it was really popular and people liked it, and so he made it. Oh well, he made one of the most famous beers in the history of the world. So deal with it.
I like Blue Moon. It's good. It's I'm not even a big bitter guy, but there's really no bitter at all in it. So I could probably use a little more hops in it.
Right, but I'm cool with it. It's not something I would seek out.
Yeah.
That's my final thought. I got no problem with it. Although some of the other Blue Moon beers I just adore, like the Mountain Abbey Ale and the Rounder and that Farmhouse Red I've come around to. So I think and that White IPA was very interesting. So I think they do great work. And their website is fantastic, really fantastic. So my final word on it is and I know what people are going to say. Oh, you ass. They sent you a bunch of free stuff, so you're going to say all that. Well, I would have said this before that. I really like what they do, so that's my opinion. Now everybody else can finish up with their opinion.
I think this is a pretty good beer.
Keone, have you done a lot of their Blue Moon beers?
Yeah, I tried, I think, a couple. I can't remember which ones, but I know this was one of them because I had this like a couple times. But this one is kind of interesting to me because when you set it down for a while and you pick it back up, you get like the smell of orange juice. Even the taste is kind of like orange juice. And you get that weedy, bready taste. And then the aftertaste is just a very subtle hops taste, but that's about it. I think this beer would have been a little bit better if it didn't have the orange peel in it. That's just my opinion because it kind of throws me off sometimes. But besides that, I think this is a pretty decent beer. It's very casual. Actually, my wife likes this beer over Coors and those other beers out there, the American beers, anyways.
I really do think a lot of women love it.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine that I know. He really likes Blue Moon, and he drinks a lot of craft beers. He's a big fan of Blue Moon. And getting back to what Keone just said, me personally, I mean, when they serve it and I see them put the orange peel, I say, man, please take the orange peel away. I don't need this. To me, there's already enough orange flavor to this beer. It's a good beer. As I said, you can pair this with roasted chicken with some veggies or maybe anything poultry. It's good. Again, is this something I'm going to buy every day? No. It's one of those, like, hey, if I'm at a restaurant, I say, you know what, I'll order Blue Moon. I'll, whatever. I'll order, anything, Sam Adams Boston Lager or Summer Ale, whatever it is, But am I buying this every day? No. It's good. The orange peel maybe a little bit strong, but it's not overpowering. But it's a decent beer. So and I just wish, they just remove that Blue Moon Brewing Company and just call it, hey, Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, and just call it a day.
Yeah, but they know people are weird. Like they got people that would say, "Oh yeah, I love Blue Moon," and then you point out to them, "Well, it's owned by Coors." I knew something was wrong with it. Hey, Sean, how do you think this would pair with Haitian food?
Well, with conch meat, I don't think so. I think something like this, you gotta have something like with any Haitian food, you gotta have something like a good, powerful lager.
So
whether it be, we call it griot, which is like, roasted pork with fried plantains, with a lot of spice. You gotta have, a Heineken, a Beck's beer, something would go good with it.
How about
anything with this? I'm trying to think. Maybe.
How about Coors Banquet? You think that would pair
Coors
with
Banquet? Possibly, yes. Coors Banquet, that would work with it. But we want something a little more powerful. And like I said, I think some of the foreign beers, Beck's, Heineken, maybe the Pilsner Urquell, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, that would go good with that. Anything that has a stronger kick to it. Peroni would be good with Haitian food.
Oh yeah. Okay. Brandon.
Well, like I said, Blue Moon is not my favorite beers, and of course the Belgian Whites are not really one of my favorite styles. But as far as the American interpretation of it, I think this is pretty good. I mean, obviously it's been around for 20 years and sells really well, so they're doing something right with this beer. It does go to the traditional flavors of the orange peel, the coriander, the oats to make it a little smoother. Definitely something. I'd say if you want to try it, go ahead. It's not something I'm regularly going to seek out, so it's good, but not something I'd normally seek out.
Yeah. How about their other stuff like their Mountain Abbey Ale or their Rounder and stuff like that?
Good stuff. I agree. I like the Mountain Abbey Ale quite a bit. It's probably one of my favorite beers by them.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't know if y'all have seen the Blue Moon sales figures, but they're profoundly good. I mean, this beer is no joke. It is a extremely popular beer. It's one of the top selling beers in America. And if you look at the list of the top 20 selling beers in America, the sales numbers are unbelievable. Like we were talking about Bud Light and just Budweiser alone, the sales figures are unbelievable.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, we're talking about major money, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I mean, they do a lot of advertising with, when you see some of the commercials on TV for Blue Moon, you would like to see some of the commercials for their other brands that Blue Moon puts out, but we know why. I mean, he's doing well for them. Coors knows they got to make their money, and my thing is, why not we just push, Coors Batch 19?
Yeah, but I guess their resources have a limit. Hey, Jean, don't you think their original Blue Moon is probably about 95% of the sales of Blue Moon? Don't y'all think?
I believe so, yes.
I'm sure it is. So I'll say about it, you know, as for the style, I think I prefer the shock top.
Oh, interesting.
It's a little less orangey, and I think it has a little more balance to it than this one does.
Yeah, I noticed that with the shock tops, they seem to be a little more subtle when it comes to the flavoring.
But I like it fine. I'll say about it too. I think it's really popular when people go out, you know, especially, you know, the places where they stick the orange peel in or the orange slice in it. But it's just a lot better on tap. I mean, again, as I always harp on, it just has a more creamy flavor. And you're always, you know, you're kind of in a better mood when you're out at a bar, you're having a beer, so you know, you probably just enjoy it because of that. So
Yes.
I'll give it, you know, a thumb up. You know, very, you know, not too enthusiastic, but you know, it's just good.
So I like what you're saying. The setting is important.
Yeah.
And Keone, it's interesting that you and Paul said you preferred the shock top. That's
Yeah.
Well, look, now things are about to get so real up in this place right now. You ready to get real, John?
Yes.
John,
I'll speak for him.
so real. What you know about that? Y'all, hold on a second. I'm about to make this thing so real.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Let's do it.
I want to say one last comment about this beer. I know it might sound ironic, but I swear to God, I think orange chicken would pair best with this beer.
Oh.
Like I said, same thing, Keone. I thought roasted chicken, veggies, something like that. You know, anything poultry will go good with this. You know.
Yeah.
You know, General Tao's chicken will go good with this.
Oh yeah. Now, look what's coming up.
What the heck is that?
Y'all better get serious because this is coming down the road.
Woo! Edge, yes.
Oh,
What the heck is that?
yeah. I will do another one. Okay, that's fine.
How you feel? How you feel? Don't be scared. Don't run. Don't hide, baby. Now. Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if I can get that where I'm at. I didn't see that. I'll still reserve.
Don't be scared. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? What's wrong?
Daddy.
What's
Daddy,
wrong? Don't
daddy.
cry. Don't cry, baby. Who's your daddy?
When are we going to do Natty Daddy? Because so far, for some when I'm at Walmart, I tend to see, you know, some the Walmart I go to in Saraland, it's like, you know, maybe a little bit the shelves are still kind of full. Maybe a couple of cases are taken away, but not as much compared to natural.
I would get it because you're going to find it has a good Best By date way into August and September. So check the bottom of the can.
You know, and like Jay said, I don't know why they did the Natty Daddy. I mean, you got natural ice, which is 5.9%,
And they come out with a 6.
Natty Daddy is what, 6%?
Yeah. Uh-oh. You damn right I ordered a code red. You damn right I ordered a code red.
I can't wait to try that.
You need
just
me
looks
on that
so good.
wall. You need me on that wall. All right. Now, because next week, enough kidding, but
Got Colonel Jessup over here.
Yeah, the great Santini also. I'm gonna bounce that basketball on your forehead. A lot of people don't know what I'm talking about. All right. Next week we got Beck Sapphire. Well, I think that's, you know, all stunting aside, because I'm a #1 stunner, so I can't help when I start getting, you know. But all joking aside, next week we're gonna look at Beck Sapphire, and you might turn around tomorrow morning and you hear that it's been canceled. So don't be shocked if this thing disappears in a hot minute. But it still exists. I bought a 12-pack. So what do y'all think about looking at that beer next week?
I already got mine, so I'm
I just got to be on the hunt. I got to look for it.
Gotta find it, John. You better go to that Walmart.
Walmart or
bottle.
a good friend, you know, at the store, looks you up and down and say, okay, I'll give it to you for $2.
Do what you can. Somebody's got a can of X. Who bought the can? Oh, that's Brandon bought the can of X Sapphire, the pint can. I've got a 12-pack. Keone, what about you? You've never tried it. You excited about it?
Yeah, I'm excited. The design of the bottle reminds me a lot of Guinness. I really want to try it out, see how it is.
Nothing like Guinness, let me tell you, except for the alcohol level. Okay, well, Paul had to leave because the kids probably started screaming and beating on the door. He had to go in the bathroom. He had to go in the bathroom because they'll run into the room while he's doing the video and sabotage the examination. Of course, they're only little babies, you know. All right, well, it was really fun. I mean, we didn't get too serious about it, but to me, it was a good time, and it's fun looking at these different brands. And I guess y'all agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah, really enjoy it.
I demand that you agree with that. Just kidding. All right, but who would like to look at the Ice House Edge?
I can get it here, no problem. Just tell me the day and date when you want to do it, and I'll be available. You want to do it tomorrow night? Sure.
Well, John, I actually have it scheduled for July 15th.
Okay.
But we could do a little sneaky review, a little sneaky early examination, you know? All right.
And you're right, Brandon. You got to have that thing ice cold.
Oh, yeah, you do not let that thing warm.
I made that mistake, and it's like, well, you know what? Just chug it and don't think about it.
All right.
Point.
Yeah, right. You just deal with it. And well, anyway, we have some exciting stuff coming up. So thank you, folks, for watching this video examination, this video production. And y'all come on down to whatever state you want to go to. There's 50 of them to choose from.
Till next.